Good morning, everybody. Game Time Brian, otherwise known as the Mailman, in the car early on a Sunday morning. I left Mark's house probably around 7:45. I was out to the world. We got it by the time we dropped off Chef David and got back, unloaded the car. I went downstairs, passed out on the couch, and I woke up, brushed my teeth, and headed out. About ready to get on 95 here, 95 North. Anybody that's around here knows how busy 95 North is, even for a Sunday. It's always busy. But I'm making good time, so it's probably a good 25 minutes faster than it normally would be going to Mark's, just because it's Sunday morning and it's early. Normally I would leave earlier, but my body wasn't having it, people. So I kind of snuck out, let Mark stay asleep, and just wanted to talk about the trip. The trip was great. Listen, anytime you go away and you're driving 500, and on I drove, figure, let's say 575 plus another 185 to Mark's, or whatever, 150 miles to Mark's, whatever it is. After a while it gets tired of driving, but yeah, hell of a trip. Shout out to Detroit. They set a record. 775,000 people. Supposedly we're at the NFL draft. Now, we didn't go yesterday. I do know that the draft was obviously a lot less crowded, but the NFL knows what they're doing. I thought it was neat how they had it inside the city. I didn't go to the one in Philly, believe it or not, but supposedly that's how it was. I wish I would have went now. But yeah, it was good. Now, I did talk to a few locals that said once NFL leaves, the city will kind of revert back to its normal self. So, I'm not trying to be mean, but that's what the locals said. The locals said they told everybody, all the locals, to be on their best behavior while the draft was going on, to give the city a good look, which is actually what it should be. But I did hear that once the draft is an afterthought, it'll go back the way it was. I thought Greektown, if you ever go to Detroit, I think Greektown is really cool. So, if you're ever going to Detroit and you want to grab something to eat, Greektown. They just have a row of restaurants and really, really cool. I'm getting a lot of texts. I'm disappointed about the Cowboys draft. I'm not disappointed about the Cowboys draft. They're asking me about the Cowboys draft. Listen, what you guys need to know is you're lucky if you get 2 starters out of the draft. I think Dallas got 3 starters out of the draft. I think they got at least 3 starters. Dallas got on Dane Brugler's Beast player rankings, who most of the GMs in the league use that. But they're in their war room. Dane does a wonderful job. He's, as far as ranking players, you may not agree on a given player, but when you look at the whole enchilada, he's pretty much on it. We got 3 top players, starting with Tyler Guyton. We got him at 29. We dropped from 24 to 29. Dallas, when they were on the clock at 24, had 5 players that they were willing to draft. So they made the move to 29, and they didn't care which player they would have got. I do know one was Tyler Guyton. He was the last guy on their board. So if the Chiefs, I think, would have taken I think they moved ahead, or I think the Chiefs moved ahead of Dallas. But if they would have taken Guyton, they would have been upset. They would have probably have tried to move back again or reached for a player. It worked out for him. Tyler Guyton was the 27th rated player. They got a 29. Pretty good value, but what made that value was getting that third round pick, right? So you had Tyler Guyton that was ranked 27, that they got at 29. Then Dallas's next pick at 73, Marshawn Kneeland, edge rusher. Look at the tape, people. Again, he on the big board, not their big board. This is Dane Brugler's big board. Most NFL draft scouts, all the information I was looking at, that's what I was looking at. Dane Brugler had him at 32. He was 32. And they got him at 73. Hell of a value there. Big time value. And with the pick that they got, by trading down, they drafted Cooper Beebe in the third round. They drafted him with their original third round pick at 87. And the big board had Cooper Beebe as number 38. So all of you people want, oh, you didn't get, yes, you did. We got 3. When I get home and I recharge my batteries, I will pretty much do and I'll tell you about who really did well on paper, because that's all it is on paper. I'll tell you how the Eagles did. I can tell you that early on the Eagles did well because they got Cooper DeJean in his second round. I don't know how anybody could argue with Cooper DeJean in his second round. You know, I really don't know how anybody could argue Cooper DeJean. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. I need to stop making coffee is what I need to do. I need to get off of 95. I need to get back into New Jersey and then I'll stop off. But, yeah, Eagles on paper did well in the first couple of rounds. I would say by getting Jeremiah Trotter. I know Dane had him rated real high. So, Eagles did well. And Washington had a shitload of picks. So, I don't know how they couldn't have done well. But we'll get into all that later. The main part of the video is when people ask me, how do you think we did game time? I think we did okay. I did tell you you're not going to address all your needs. We don't know just because Dallas brought them in. You saw on my sheet where I highlighted all those highlights where Dallas had some kind of contact with that team. They reached out, they visited with the player. Now, just because you visit with a player, I'm going to ask you guys this. If they visited with the player and that player is on the board and they do not take that player, then obviously they didn't have to have that player, right? Now, Stephen Jones did say that there were some running backs that they might have considered taking if they would have fell. The only way they were taking it is if they would have fell to them in the 5th round. They do not want to trade. They did trade a 7th next year to move in that trade to get number 73. So, that aside, remember, they get all those comp picks next year over and above their own picks. So, they have 7 of their own and 4 comp picks. So, they have, as of right now, they have 11 picks in next year's draft. So, but yes, again, if they don't draft a running back, now, you know, I was a little surprised, but again, I knew they weren't going to really draft a receiver high. They did get a few receivers, especially in free agency, and we'll get into that later. I think I'll do my Zoom call later. I'll try to, and we'll see how I feel. But yes, we'll dig into all that, but all in all, I think it was a very successful day. Stephen Jones, even Jerry Jones, they made it a point to say the final roster is far, far from set as far as plenty of time. We got this next wave of free agency about ready to hit. Me and Mark both talked about it. It's where you don't lose your comp picks now. I will dig into all the remaining free agents. Trades, they specifically said trades. Now that teams have gone out and had their draft, now they are more willing to, okay, this is who we got. Salary cap is real for everybody. They need to look at their contracts going forward, and they will try to unload contracts. Now, maybe they drafted a defensive tackle, and they have maybe a veteran that now has come available. You know what I mean? They said there has been a lot of talk about trades, and we'll get into that. I'll dig into who they might be talking about. Obviously, nobody that was recently extended might be included in there, but older veterans who could come in, especially one tech. I do like the one tech we got out of Auburn. And I'll wait till I get back in my mama's basement, and we'll break it all down later this evening. I am off work tomorrow, so I will be probably chilling out today. Go home, get a shower, do some laundry, and settle in, spend some time. I miss my dogs. I miss my wife. And no, obviously the family first, but my dogs are a part of my family, so I miss that, and it'll be nice to be home and settle in and eat some normal food. Now, I don't know how normal it'll be today, but it is. It's going to be nice to eat some normal food. We got some warm weather coming here this week. It's going to be in the 80s. It's very nice out now. So, very much looking forward to putting this draft behind us. Yeah, it's sad. It came and went. I told you guys, that's how it works. The draft will be over before we know it. And you can't address all your needs. But Primetime Phil, my brother from another mother, safe travels today, buddy. I know you got a flight around 4:30 to head back to Naples, Florida. David Wiley, my man, the gentle giant, I call him. Gentle giant. Shout out to David Wiley. He truly has become a friend. And Mark Holmes, the OG. He's like a brother to me. He's like my older brother. He reminds me of my older brother a little bit. I hope everybody enjoyed me and Mark going at it, bantering, cutting up on each other. Like Mark said, he seemed kind of upset. He goes, I don't know when I'm going to see you guys again. Listen, I'm 3 hours away, man. We'll get together. He really wants me to go to training camp. We'll see. Again, it's not that I don't want to go, but I have 3 weeks off, and I think where he wants to go, it's a week before I can get off. So work comes first, man. I don't know what to tell you. I have a 9-to-5 job that it's a pension job. I need to finish it out. I got another at least 5 years left. So we'll see what happens. I'm gonna try and make it happen, but no guarantees. Maybe I could switch my third week for a week that somebody has. Maybe I could talk to somebody to flip a week around or something. I don't know. We shall see. But like I said, the rest of the day today, nothing really planned. Tomorrow, get up to speed, return the rental car tomorrow morning, and then life is back to normal. Go back to work on Tuesday, and keep the content coming. I think I have some momentum coming. I know I woke up this morning and I'm well over 13,000 subscribers, so thank you so much. I appreciate everybody. I'm just getting started. I've been doing this less than a year, people. So I got a lot of videos up in that time, but I've been doing it less than a year, so I think I'll get a little more, I'll be a little more tight in how I get things out. I've learned a lot, but yeah, for the most part, I enjoy it. This channel is about 98% positive. Yeah, there's 2% assholes out there. Mark says the bigger you get, the more assholes will come out of the woodwork. So that makes sense, right? So I will be doing a breakdown on the NFC East and pointing out some of the better drafts. But I really need to look at it. I'm not going to just look at the names and go, yeah, okay, I think they did good, or the sheer number of picks. I'll give you my honest opinion. And I'll even look at the Dallas draft and say where it's easy to say, right? When you're drafting, you don't know what's going to go after you or after you make a pick. You're projecting what's going to be on the board. But they were projecting so much about a running back that the only way they were taking a running back is if one fell a complete round to them for value. Just like that kid out of Wake Forest, the cornerback, Carson. Yeah, I can't think of his last name, but Carson. They were doing high fives. They had a high grade on him. Kind of like what happened to Deron Bland, people, where they stuck to their board rather than go for a running back who was on the board. They have a crowded running back room. I know they don't have a bell cow, but Super Bowl winners don't necessarily have a running back making a lot of money. That's just a fact, right? You tell me the last running back that was making top dollar, that was the highest paid running back in the league, that won a Super Bowl. We've been a part of that with Zeke Elliott. I love Zeke, but when he was making all that money, that's what everybody was telling us. Oh, well, that's great that you got Zeke, but paying that position that much money, you never win. You never say never. We'll see what happens to Philly. Philly's defense was decimated. They got some small linebackers. That's the one thing. I'm hearing they got a feel-good story. But, man, it'll be interesting to see how that defense comes together. Real mixed reviews with Vic Fangio. Most people are not a big fan at this point in his career. But, again, we'll see, right? On paper, Eagles did well. So, we're going to give them the credit. But anyway, I don't want to have this video too long. I will talk to everybody later. But I just want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you, Detroit. You guys were great hosts. I thought the city, I thought I tried to give you as much sights and sounds and feel of what Detroit is all about. And I was happy with it. They welcomed us. From the moment that we got there, from the moment that we left, Detroit was different in my mind than it was when I went there. And it was different in a good way. So, at the end, I think they did their job. Talk to everybody else, people. Game Time Brian, otherwise known as the Mailman. Later.